I realize that I'm the only thing here between you and home, so or your way home. So actually, if you'll forgive me, I'll move quickly through what I think you'll find extremely interesting as we move through the slides of an interesting study or several studies that we've done of advertisers, marketers, and agencies, and what their perceptions are of digital video advertising. So what are their plans, next 6 months, next 12 months, and again, what do they think is important, what do they think is less important when it comes to making relates to ad spending among digital has invaded, as of the past two waves of our study, being as important, if not a bit more important as it relates to ad spending than search and display. So video is very much on the minds of digital and television media decision makers. What we're also finding is that while all ad categories are optimistic, decision makers in those ad categories are optimistic about their spending when it comes to digital video, that they're optimistic. But what we're finding is that auto, consumer electronics, and financial ad category decision makers were the most optimistic, and beauty, telecom, and energy, while they remained optimistic, were the least in this group. So we've got a good understanding that the marketplace is open and ready to spend money in the direction of video advertising online. So now let's take a look at some of the things that we're seeing that are the reasons why some of those dollars are shifting. Before we do, here we're looking at a question that was asked in the next 12 months. Are you planning to increase your digital ad spending? And what's interesting is that more than half of the marketers that were surveyed, and this is a study of more than 1,000 marketers and agencies, and nearly 70% of the agencies said that they were actually planning to increase their digital video advertising in the next 12 months. Agencies are slightly more bullish than marketers, and it was interesting that we didn't see much difference between television and digital media, that they were pretty much in alignment. Overall, we asked them, are you planning to increase the share of video advertising in your online budget? 22% said, yes, we are. So we're just seeing the beginnings of movement towards video ads online. And the most interesting, and we could talk about this for a while, but I'll point your attention to the 14% of the respondents basically who said that they were involved in making television media decisions and that they were planning on spending money on digital video, and it was coming from their television ad budget. So while the majority is still coming from digital or a hybrid budget, we're beginning to see money spent from the TV ad budget. When we asked, well, what's driving this migration? What are the reasons? The top two that both agencies and marketers, for the most part, agreed on were better ROI. And that's where the audience is moving. We'll just move it along. When asked why not, what were the reasons for your decisions not to? Again, nearly 60% of the marketers out there were unsure about the effectiveness of the ROI coming from video advertising, untested. And the agencies cited, 44% of them, more than marketers, cited that it was about not having standard metrics, GRPs, with which to measure across both media. So why? Why do they make the decisions that they do? Why are they buying digital video, and what's important to those decisions? What's most important among all of the different criteria that we asked advertisers to tell us about, number one were ad results. And we'll get to ad result definition in a second, followed by audience targeting optimization, audience reach, were all important drivers, all important criteria when it came to making digital video ad decisions. Less important were cross-media integration, marketing services, and the image of the media brand that they were placing ads with. Agencies and marketers agreed, and as I said, they said ROI was important. Well, we always ask, what do you mean by ROI? Because everybody has a different definition. And in this case, it was, for the most part, conversion rates, return on advertising investment, impact on sales, and interestingly enough, clickstream was down towards the bottom. So clickstream metrics were less important to the definition of ROI than the more traditional definition. Interesting, we also wanted to know who was responsible for making the decision for digital video advertising, and we asked both agencies and marketers to tell us, and the answer is that it really all depends on who was answering the question. If it were agencies, the agencies said that they were the ones who were making the decision as to whether to use digital video advertising or not, how much to budget or to allocate to digital video advertising, whereas on the flip side, marketers, when asked, believed it was their decision in both those areas. The one area where both conceded that it was the agency who was involved is when it came to creative tactics and placement of that digital video ad. Moving along quickly, so the last section, based on the research that we did, was to understand what are the preferences that the ad community, marketers and agencies have when it comes to video advertising online. That is format, pricing, length, And what we found was that it was, when it came to pricing, CPM, it was most important, or important to most, I should say. Format was pre-roll, and length, 15 seconds. The vast majority said 15 seconds. So if you're on the advertiser side, agency or marketer, this is what your peers are thinking. If you're a seller of advertising, this is what your customers, your advertisers are thinking. So summing it all up, advertisers are optimistic about digital video advertising in the future. The migration of ad dollars from TV to digital has begun. It's primarily being driven based on ROI and audience shift. What's most important to those decisions are ad results, traditional ad results, as we would define them. Audience, targeting, optimization are key, and their preference is, again, for pre-roll 15 seconds in length and pricing based on CPM. Again, flew through this very quickly in the interest of time, and if you bring me your card, I'd be very happy to make sure that you get the full deck as a follow-up. Anyway, thank you.